Unit 7, Recording 2. Harriet.
Quite a few of my friends had absolutely huge which cost thousands and thousands of pounds with like a mega expensive dress, a massive cake, loads of flower arrangements everywhere and literally hundreds of guests, loads of their parents' friends. I mean, one of my friends didn't even know some of the guests at her own... I mean, how crazy is that? She had hardly any time to talk to her own friends because she was so busy being polite to people she didn't know. And then you hear all these stories about people getting really stressed beforehand when it's supposed to be like a joyful occasion. Another of my friends fell out with her future mother-in-law over the arrangements. Apparently, the mother-in-law nearly didn't come to though luckily they made it up before the big day. But it's ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, as I say, I'd been to several of these and it was all far too impersonal. There was far too much fuss. So anyway, Freddie and I decided we wanted something completely different. So we've just invited close family and a few old friends to the ceremony and the reception, and we're saving the money my parents gave us to spend on our new flat. We'll have a nice party a couple of weeks later to celebrate with all our friends, and it'll be fantastic. No stress, none of my mother's friends. Heaven.
Bethany.
Is basically a day that most people spend with their families. They have a big family gathering, either at home or in a restaurant, a special meal with special dishes, and everyone eats far too much food, and then no one can move, so they all sit around and watch TV. There are always several big football matches on TV, and there's also a big parade that you can also watch on TV with like amazing floats and costumes and balloons and fireworks. So that's kind of fun to watch if you've got nothing better to do. But basically, it's a pretty lazy day after you've finished eating. And surprisingly, it's not particularly commercial. Very few people exchange presents or cards. You might take a small gift if you're invited to someone's house for a meal, you know, some flowers or a little candy for the kids. But really, it's all quite low-key. It's really nice in that way.
Dan.
I guess I'm a bit of a freak, really. I go to more or less any I can. Sometimes I manage to get work as a steward in return for like a free ticket. It's always really exciting when you arrive. There's this amazing buzz that you get from being surrounded by thousands and thousands of people. You know, all of them there like to enjoy themselves. I love the feeling when you wake up and gradually everyone comes out of their tents and slowly the place comes to life. And there's this build-up of excitement as the bands are about to start playing. First the small bands on several different stages, building up to the headline act at the end of the evening on the main stage. Some are friendlier than others, but there's usually a great atmosphere. You can get talking to anyone, really. The party really starts about midnight after the bands have finished, and I often stay up most of the night. I never get enough sleep. What else? These days, I would say the facilities in most places are pretty good. There are usually enough toilets, though there are always massive queues. And there are plenty of stalls to buy food and drink, though none of it's cheap. And of course, there's always loads of merchandise on sale, band t-shirts and stuff. I always spend far too much money. There's one thing that always annoys me, though. There's never enough water. You know, not enough taps for getting water to wash or drink. And you always have to walk miles to find a tap. Apart from that, I don't have many complaints. I just wish I had more time to see more bands.